Good morning, fourth graders. Today in math, we're working on fraction word problems. So what you're going to need to do when you're reading each problem is to figure out the fractions you're going to need to use, and then to figure out if the problem wants you to add or subtract those two fractions. So let's go over number 1 together, and then you can pause the video and try the rest on your own. When I'm reading word problems, I usually like to use the highlight tool. That helps me when I come across important information so I can highlight it as I go. So when I'm ready to solve the problem, I can quickly look back at what I found was important in the actual word problem. So number 1 says, Daisy has read 1/8 of the books in her classroom's library. If she reads another 1/8 of the books in the first month of school, what fraction of books will she have read? What fraction of books will she have read? So based on what I've highlighted, I see this keyword another, and that's telling me that I need to combine those two fractions together to figure out what the total is. So I'm going to add 1/8 plus 1/8. If you look up at the directions, it asks you to either write an equation or you can draw a picture or a model to help you solve. For this problem, I'm just going to write an equation to help me solve it. So I know 1/8 plus 1/8 equals 2/8 because when I add, I combine my numerators and my denominator stays the same. Because this is a word problem, I need to label my answer. So you could just write 2/8 of the books, or you could even type your answer to make a complete thought for your response. So for example, I've written Daisy will have read 2/8 of the books in her classroom library. That's one choice. That's sort of like going above and beyond. If you didn't want to type out your full answer, you could have just written 2/8 of the books. So go ahead, pause the video now, and come on back. We'll go over the rest of the answers together. All right, question number 2 says, Jackson brought cookies to school to share with his friends. By recess time, 3/5 of the cookies were left. After recess, another 1/5 of the cookies were eaten. What fraction of the cookies did they have left to enjoy after lunch? So I can see that he started off with 3/5 of his cookies at recess time, and then after recess time, they ate 1/5 of those. So I'm going to subtract 1/5 from 3/5 to figure out how many he had left. So 3/5 minus 1/5 is 2/5. And I'm going to write my response. My response is Jackson had 2/5 of his cookies left. On to question number 3. Before lunch, Luke put together 3/10 of a puzzle. After lunch, he put together another 4/10 of the puzzle. How much of the puzzle has he completed? That word completed tells me I need to find the total of how much he's done. So I'm going to add 3/10 plus 4/10, and that'll equal 7/10. So for my answer, I wrote, Luke has completed 7/10 of his puzzle. On to the second page, we have a few more word problems. All right, question 1 says, Ava cut a brownie into 8 pieces. If she ate 2 pieces before lunch and 1 piece after lunch, what fraction of the brownie did she eat? So the brownie was cut into 8 pieces. She ate 2 pieces before lunch and 1 piece after lunch. What fraction of the brownie did she eat? So she ate 2/8 before lunch and 1/8 after lunch. So she ate 3/8 of the brownie. Question number 2 says, Ethan ate 1/6 of a pizza and his friend Ryan ate 2/6 of a pizza. What fraction of the pizza did they eat all together? This word all together tells me that I need to add those two fractions together. So I'm going to add 1/6 and 2/6, which equals 3/6. So Ethan and Ryan ate 3/6 of the pizza all together. Question number 3 says, Jack ate 4 slices of a 10-slice pizza. What fraction was left? So if there were 10 slices of the pizza to begin with, so 10 out of 10 slices, and he ate 4 out of 10 of those slices, I'm going to subtract 10/10 minus 4/10 equals 6/10 of the pizza was left. Question number 4. Jack grew 1/4 of an inch in October and 2/4 of an inch in November. How many inches did he grow in the 2 months? So because we're looking at those 2 months all together, we're going to add 1/4 of an inch plus 2/4 of an inch, which equals 3/4 of an inch. So Jack grew 3/4 of an inch. Question number 5. Tyler read 1/3 of a book on Wednesday and 1/3 of the same book on Thursday. How much of the book did he read in those 2 days? So because it's asking how much he read in those 2 days, we're going to add those two fractions together. So 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 2/3. So Jack read 2/3 of his book. And last but not least, question number 6. Ella did 2/6 of her chores in the morning and 3/6 of her chores in the evening. How much of her chores did she do in all? Because it's asking how much she did in all, that tells me I need to add those two fractions together. So 2/6 plus 3/6 equals 5/6. Ella did 5/6 of her chores. As always, reach out if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great day.